be here, and we are here today to discuss another creepy cryptid story, the Hopkinsville Goblins case, also known as the Kentucky Goblins. The Kentucky Goblin is the name that the citizens of Hopkinsville, Kentucky gave to the group of small, goblin-like creatures that have been spotted in the surrounding areas of Hopkinsville, Kentucky since the early 1950s. The creatures are described to be around 3 feet tall, with pale, almost silver-looking skin, large eyes that protrude from the sides of the face, and large, long, sharp-pointed ears. The goblins have long, slender arms with sharp fingers or claws that dangle from the sides of its body and reach all the way to the ground. The legs were reported to look small and almost atrophied and are not used to walk. Witnesses who have seen the goblins stated that they looked as though they were able to levitate or fly across the ground in an unnatural manner. The first encounter with the goblins was reported to have been seen by the Sutton family on the night of August 21, 1955. The Sutton family, which consisted of 8 adults and 2 children, as well as their friend of the family, Mr. Taylor, all witnessed the creatures. The night of August 21, 1955, the Sutton family reported to the local police and sheriff that they had been attacked by unknown creatures. They reported that these creatures banged on their roof and on their front door, as well as peeked into the windows of the home, frightening the Sutton children. 2 of the Sutton men reported to have shot at these creatures using a .22 rifle and a shotgun, which had no effect. Instead, the men reported hearing a metal clinking sound every time a bullet was shot at a creature. And then the creature would jump into the air, do a backflip, landing back onto the ground, and then it would disappear into the darkness. The men reported to have shot at least 4 or 5 of the creatures, and once the family had had enough, they decided to retreat from their property, and they drove to the local police station to report what had happened to them that night. The family members described the creatures to the police and sheriff. They stated that they were alarmed by the fact that the creatures' legs looked to be so atrophied that they were not being used to support them, but rather just dangled from the body. The creatures moved in the air, almost levitating or flying. The Sutton family matriarch, Mrs. Langford, stated that at no time did the creatures seem to want to harm anyone, but rather they acted as if they were just playing with the family. The family stated that they were unsure of how many creatures were actually there at the farm that night, as they all looked the same. The local sheriff reported that the family members seemed to be clearly shaken by something. After reporting what had happened to the police and sheriff, the family returned to their property along with 20 police officers and the sheriff. They pointed out the damage to the house, as well as the tracks that the creatures had made on the ground. The police and sheriff also witnessed strange sounds and lights, as well as seeing a few of the creatures, while at the Sutton residence. There are even reports that the police and the sheriff fired their weapons at the creatures with little to no effect. Moonshine and alcohol were later claimed to be the cause of the disruptions at the Sutton household that night, and UFOologists later claimed that the Sutton family and Mr. Taylor must have simply saw owls in nearby trees. The lights in the sky were explained to be either a meteor or a falling star. In 1957, the U.S. Air Force Major John E. Albert stated that he believed that the creature sightings by the Sutton family was attributed to a monkey that was painted with silver paint that had escaped from a circus, and that the whole ordeal was blatantly blown out of proportion. Aside from the Sutton family, other people in town have witnessed the creatures near local caves and in the surrounding woods. The townspeople also stated that they have witnessed strange lights in the sky and odd sounds at night. The locals stay away from the caves and the woods because of these sightings. Years later, the eyewitnesses stand by what they saw, and even though UFO researchers claimed the reports were most likely because of owls or other easily explainable phenomena, the family believed that they were attacked that night by little creatures from unknown origins. There have been several documentaries made on the Hopkinsville Goblins, including a very in-depth series called Hellier, which delves even deeper into the phenomena. I highly recommend you guys checking this specific documentary series out. You can actually find it right here on YouTube. In that documentary, a family that was living near Hellier reported having a very similar experience as the Sutton family. They reported hearing strange tapping sounds on the home at night, having items removed from their front porch and lawn, as well as having their young daughter report that she was scared to sleep in her room because she kept seeing small, bald children looking into her window and tapping on the glass. The family that made these reports ended up abandoning their property and leaving the area for good. The crew from the documentary actually goes to the area of Hellier to investigate the reports. There is a lot more information in regard to the specific case that you can find out by watching the documentary series, and I highly recommend you do so. My opinion of this case is that some aspects of it must be true. This opinion is based on the large amount of reports from locals of seeing these creatures, as well as all of the UFO sightings and other strange phenomena reported in this area. This leads me to believe that the Sutton family saw something that they could not explain that night. Whether or not these creatures are goblins or aliens, I cannot say. Well, that's it for this video. I hope you guys like this creepy story. If you would like more information about the Kentucky Goblins, I will link all the articles that I got my information from in the description below. Thanks for watching, and I will see you guys in the next video.